The new matchmaking update has arrived, and I am ready to grind rank and see where I place, once I get more characters to play ranked with. Turns out, one-tricking Mina has its consequences, but I get to experiment with heroes I do not normally get to play. Join me as I test the waters of some new heroes. I was the holy priest himself, Venator, who just so happened to be teaming up with a necromancer for some reason. But at least I had a werewolf to hunt along with a professor. Dynamo saw me on low HP, but there was one issue. He cornered himself against a Venator. Silver came in to finish the job, only to find out that I know how to parry. Luckily for her, I was too low of health to be able to follow up on the parry, but the message was sent. If you try me, you will catch these holy hands. But my death on the zipline was a message back that I should not get too cocky. Seeing an overextended Dynamo, I tried proving them wrong, only to be reminded that Venator is a hard carry, and I should not be feeding for kills early. But I would repay the favor. Dynamo tried to heavy melee me from the Veil, only to remember I have ears, and I was not one to turn down a kill served on a silver platter. We pushed up on their Guardian, and I landed all 3 of my crossbow shots, dropping the Dynamo down to critical health. But he was not ready to give up. Removing his outer shell, Dynamo rushed into Graves and I, using his singularity. With the combined Guardian damage and Silver right there, I fell to the Professor. But we were not ready to lose this lane. Silver tried ambushing me, but found herself on the receiving end of these holy hands. Silver was forced to retreat back to her Guardian, while Graves threw down a tombstone and started a zombie apocalypse in the middle of the lane. The Guardian stood no chance. Silver was able to transform into her lycanthrope form, but instead of judging her poor decision to fight me, I decided to send her to God, so he can do the judging. But being a hard carry who loves having a big wallet, I went over to the Double Sinners building to fatten my stacks. But Dynamo knew exactly where I wanted to be. My health was low from the Double Sinners and he was prepared. A desperate brawl ensued. My shotgun blast stunned him into the wall, followed up by an uppercut and a holy hand grenade. But the weight of a black hole's footsteps caused a mighty tremor, sending me to heaven. Anyways, I proceeded to farm for like 10 minutes. While shoving the left lane, I saw a solo Mina. Finally, an undead I am allowed to kill. Pulling out my holy crossbow, I loaded it up with a wooden stake, executing her instantly. This left the walker undefended, and being the greedy half carry in a hard carry role, I saw my chance. Geist was in the area and decided to help me, and before the enemy could react, the walker fell at our feet. Then I went back to farming for a good while. But my farming was not going to be easy. Mina shoved the lane back, and while I did cause her to retreat, Dynamo was there to save her. That was fine, however, because this time, the ganker was going to become the gank. Before he knew it, he burned to death in holy fire. But Mina wanted revenge. Silver jumped on me like I was a steak being served on a silver platter to a dog, while Mina solo ulted me, turning off my abilities. I did not appreciate that, but what I did not appreciate even more was Warden rotating to finish the job. I was caught in his cage, and the alchemist finished me off. After even more farming and a few forgettable skirmishes, I had already gotten a major power spike. And since we just killed Silver and Mina, my team called for mid-boss, which I almost entirely soloed. But when the Rejuvenator dropped, Mirage teleported in and Seven arrived to turn the cramped sewer system into the middle of a thunderstorm. And to their credit, they were able to steal not 1, but 2 Rejuvenator charges. All my hard work was just given to them. I was not gonna let that slide. Mirage tried to escape for his life, but my aim was true, forcing a Rejuvenator charge out of him right next to a wall. The second he respawned, he found himself on the business end of my shotgun, stunning him before he took an uppercut to the jaw and several bullets to the body. Wanting to finish the job, I pulled out Iridomini, only for Seven to turn tail and run before I could get a shot on him. But that was okay, as I found Warden. My wooden stake went right through the policeman's chest as he got to experience holy fire right afterwards. He tried to run, but no one can outrun judgment. But this would not be a good story without some tribulation. A rift opened on the left lane, and I wanted it to secure the win in the rift unit. I rotated over and decided to make some space before it opened so my team could easily secure it. But as it turned out, my opponents just finished Gate King Geist, burning our only Rejuvenator charge. But before I had time to fight back or retreat, Dynamo jumped from the top ropes, catching me in his ultimate, before he transformed Silver and Seven wailed on my stunned body. Wasting no time, they pushed up to not only take the rift, but to put the front lines on our doorstep, so we had no chance of contesting it. But while Mina and Dynamo were trying to crash into our base, Celeste and Viscous put on a good show. Despite being down souls, they forced a retreat with large amounts of chip damage. Wanting to return the favor, we took back control of the left lane, pushing into their base. The Hidden King's pawns were under no illusion that I was anything less than a threat on my crusade against them, and focused me down, forcing me to retreat for health instead of another 80-second respawn timer. But this was not a bad thing, as the wave on the right side of the lane was crashing into our base, and Seven was there to take advantage of it. Seeing it as an opportunity for an easy stun into heavy melee, I took it, only to find out that Seven bought debuff the booster, and I was helpless after he buried me. Luckily, he chose not to take the fight for some reason, allowing me to avoid a long respawn timer. But we were determined to finish the fight, pushing up mid lane. I was ready to end it all with my crossbow, but Seven had other plans. The sky glowed yellow as he channeled electricity into the surrounding air, and Mirage was hiding in the veil, and before I knew it, his dinge marks exploded, removing my health, and finally, Dynamo made sure to seal the deal on our advance, catching Vindicta and I in his ultimate. With this advantage, they quickly rotated to fight mid-boss, grabbing all 3 Rejuvenator charges, putting us between a rock and a hard place. Luckily, Silver must have felt invincible, as she attacked me without her team backing her up. She bought Indomitable, meaning I could not just stun her for free against a wall, and was able to transform into her werewolf form. I thought I was dead to rights, but my team was there to save me. Turns out, what she felt in reality did not line up. I had to clean up a lane, and was able to capture another lift. Forcing their attention, my team was able to force out the other 2 Rejuvenator charges, and we shoved the left lane into their base once again, taking a shrine on the way in and then heavy casualties on the way out. Mid-boss had already respawned for the 3rd time, and they rushed in to take advantage of it, while some of us were on the respawn train. But just like Athanasius against the Aryans, I was not going to let that happen. Right before the crystal dropped, I dashed into position, blocking their heavy melee attempts to protect me, before grabbing a Rejuvenator charge as Viscous grabbed the other. At the cost of both Rejuvenator charges, we were able to get away, taking away their final and only Rejuvenator charge from Dynamo, making it an even fight at our base. Dynamo found himself in a tight room with me. He popped Metal Skin, making him immune to bullets. Unfortunately for him, it only makes him immune to bullets and not these holy hands. Using our momentum, we charged into their base, guns blazing. Silver challenged me to a 1v1 in a small room, leaving me on death's door, but I was cornered. Warden popped his ultimate, and I could not retreat in time to save myself. Luckily, I did not have to retreat. Warden lacked object permanence, as I quickly slid around a corner and crouched behind a wall, watching the angry alchemist walk right past me, before I went to a different zipline avoiding his wrath. Upon returning, we quickly destroyed their final shrine, leaving the hidden key exposed. They staggered onto the point to protect their patron, but it was just a formality. The Archmother was victorious and I was her champion. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. Have a great day, and until next time, bye!